The Unbreakable Friendship. A long time ago, in a small and peaceful town, there was a group of friends who were like a family. Their names were Usman, Usama, Haris, Malik, Shahzad, Ahsan, Sweet, Nasir, Bilal, Azami, Ayman, Asma, Shahzadi, Sonia, Saud, Hazim, Effie, Daisy, Anaya, Yahoo, Abdul, Mikasa, Charlie, and Bird. Each friend was unique with their own special traits and personalities. Yet, together, they formed a bond stronger than anything life could throw at them. Their days were filled with laughter, deep conversations, and unforgettable moments. No matter how different they were, their love, trust, and support for one another made their friendship unbreakable. Usman was the most important member of the group, not because he was the leader, but because he was the heart and soul of their friendship. He had a rare quality that made everyone feel valued, included, and loved. No matter what was happening, Usman made sure no one felt left out or alone. He had a deep sense of understanding, and he knew exactly what to say to comfort his friends. He was always ready to help, and he never turned his back on anyone, no matter how difficult the situation was. One of Usman's greatest qualities was his ability to truly listen. Unlike most people who listen just to reply, Usman listened to understand. If any of his friends had a problem, they knew they could go to him, and he would never judge them. He never made fun of their worries, no matter how small or silly they seemed. Instead, he gave them his full attention, showing them that their feelings mattered. If someone was upset, Usman would notice right away, even if they tried to hide it. He had an incredible ability to sense when something was wrong. Sometimes he didn't even need to ask. He would just sit beside them, offering silent support until they were ready to talk. And when they finally spoke, he would listen carefully, nodding at the right moments, giving advice only when necessary, and reminding them that they were never alone. Conflicts were inevitable in a large group like theirs. There were debates, misunderstandings, and even heated arguments at times. But Usman was always there to cool things down. He never took sides in a fight. Instead, he acted as a bridge between friends who had disagreed. He reminded them that their bond was more important than any argument. Whenever there was a fight, Usman would patiently sit with both sides and help them see each other's point of view. He would say, "Look, I know you both are angry, but is this argument really worth breaking our friendship?" His words always made sense, and somehow he always managed to bring peace. The group trusted his fairness because they knew he never played favorites. He only wanted what was best for everyone.
Hey, stop, stop, stop.
Huh, but what?
I want to continue from here.
No way.
Hey, please.
But why?
Because Usman is my favorite in this group.
All right, go ahead.
Oh, that's the spirit. Thank you. So, guys, life was full of ups and downs, and Usman was there for both. When things were good, he celebrated with his friends. When things were bad, he stood by them, offering comfort and support. If someone failed an exam, Usman would be the first to say, "It's just one test, and I know you'll do better next time." If someone had family problems, he would patiently listen and offer kind words to make them feel better. If a friend lost hope in themselves, Usman was the one who reminded them of their strengths. He never let his friends suffer alone. He believed that no problem was too big if faced together. Even when he himself was struggling, he never let his pain show because he didn't want to burden his friends. His strength came from knowing that his friends relied on him, and he was willing to carry their worries on his shoulders if it meant they would be happy. Despite being responsible and mature, Usman was not a boring or overly serious person. He had a great sense of humor and always knew how to make people laugh. Even in the middle of serious conversations, he would find a way to add a light-hearted joke to ease the tension. His laughter was infectious, and whenever he was around, the group felt more alive. He was also full of positivity. Whenever someone doubted themselves, he would remind them of their worth. He would say things like, "You're smarter than you think," or "I believe in you and I know you can do it." His encouragement gave his friends the confidence they needed to chase their dreams and overcome their fears. Usman's love for his friends was pure. He never expected anything in return for his kindness. His happiness came from seeing his friends happy. Even when life took them all in different directions, Usman was the one who kept them connected. He would send messages, check on everyone, and remind them that no matter how busy life got, their friendship was still important. He often said, "No matter where life takes us, we will always be together." And his words became the foundation of their bond. Loyalty was another defining trait of Usman. He never let anyone talk badly about his friends. If someone had a problem with one of them, he would defend them without hesitation. He believed in standing by those he cared about, even when things got tough. If a friend made a mistake, he wouldn't abandon them. He would help them learn and grow from it. He had a way of bringing out the best in people, reminding them that they were capable of more than they believed. The group knew that without Usman, things would never be the same. He wasn't just a friend. He was like a brother to all of them. His kindness, wisdom, and unwavering loyalty made him the most special person in their lives. He was the one who made sure they never drifted apart, the one who reminded them of the beautiful bond they shared.
Hey, I'm gonna continue now.
Ha ha ha. Do you really think so that I'll let you continue?
Why won't you?
Do you have any idea who is the next person of this story?
Yes, I do know that she is the youngest, most adorable, and stunning girl, Asma Shahzadi.
So it's me who is going to continue.
But Asma is my favorite person in this group.
So what?
It's not fair. Before I allowed you to tell Usman's story, who is your favorite? Now, it's going to be Asma Shahzadi, who is my favorite. So let me continue now.
Oh my goodness, all right then. Please proceed with whatever you
You
have
are so
planned.
nice, thank you.
Hmm.
So, guys, listen attentively. Don't miss this part at all. I know you're going to love it. Asma Shahzadi, the naughty one. Asma Shahzadi was the mischief maker of the group, always full of energy, laughter, and unexpected interruptions. She had a playful nature that made everyone laugh, even in the most serious moments. If the group was deep in discussion about politics, history, or life's biggest questions, Asma would suddenly jump in with something completely unrelated. Like, "By the way, did anyone notice how pretty the sky looks today?" This habit of hers made her both a source of frustration and joy to her friends. She never stayed silent for too long. If there was a conversation, Asma was in it, whether she knew what was going on or not. She would listen halfway, misunderstand something, and then confidently add her own twist to the story, making everyone burst into laughter. It was as if she had her own unique way of seeing the world, one that was completely unpredictable but always entertaining. Even when people tried to have serious discussions, they knew Asma would find a way to turn it into something funny or playful. Usman, being the heart of the group, had a special bond with Asma. He often teased her, calling her the troublemaker of the group or the queen of distractions. But at the same time, he always defended her when others got annoyed by her interruptions. If someone scolded her for changing the topic, Usman would step in with a smile and say, "Let her be, she keeps things interesting." Even when Asma wasn't around, Usman made sure that no one spoke badly about her. He knew that despite her playful nature, she was an important part of their group's happiness. One of Asma's favorite things to do was to create unnecessary drama just for fun. She would pretend to be upset over something small and then laugh when her friends tried to comfort her. Sometimes she would act as if she had a big secret to tell, making everyone curious, only to reveal something completely silly like, "I just realized I love chocolate more than anything in the world." Her unpredictable behavior made her the most entertaining member of the group. Despite all her mischief, Asma had a heart full of love for her friends. If someone was sad, she was the first to notice. Though she wasn't great at serious conversations, she had her own way of making people feel better, by distracting them with jokes, funny stories, or her endless chatter. Even if someone was deeply upset, Asma would find a way to bring a smile to their face. Her ability to turn sadness into laughter was one of her most special qualities. Usman often said that without Asma, the group would be too serious and boring. He admired the way she could light up any room with her presence. No matter how much she annoyed him with her constant interruptions, he never truly got mad at her. Instead, he found her presence refreshing. Their friendship was built on teasing, laughter, and an unspoken understanding that, in their own ways, they both made the group stronger. One day, Usman was entertaining the whole group with a funny story about Asma. Asma's family had a little problem, he began. She would talk non-stop at home, like a full-time radio station. So to bring some peace to the house, they installed an English learning app for her. The idea was simple. She'd be busy practicing English instead of chattering all day. At first, the plan worked like magic. Asma Shahzadi got hooked on the app, practicing her English with full enthusiasm. But soon, her family noticed something strange. She wasn't studying anything else. It was like she had a new best friend, and that best friend was the app. So in a bold move, they deleted it. Big mistake. Without the app, Asma went back to her true form, full-time mischief mode. She was teasing everyone, playing pranks, and causing chaos in the house. The family quickly realized that without the app, there was no peace at home. And so after much discussion, and probably some tears, they did the only thing that could save their sanity. They reinstalled the app. And just like that, balance was restored and the house was peaceful once again. All thanks to one little app.
Saud, the religious explorer and guide. Saud was the most religious and knowledgeable person in the group. From a young age, he had a deep love for Islam and always wanted to learn more about it. He didn't just follow religious teachings without understanding them. He believed that true faith comes from knowledge. That's why he spent a lot of time reading the Quran, Hadith, and books written by well-known Islamic scholars. He wanted to make sure that whatever he believed in was based on truth and authentic sources. Whenever someone in the group had a question about Islam, they always went to Saud because they knew he would give them the correct answer. He never spoke without proof. Instead, he would refer to the Quran and Hadith before explaining anything. If he wasn't sure about something, he would research it and come back with a well-explained answer. He always reminded his friends, religion is not just about following blindly. It is about understanding and learning. One of the most special things about Saud was his way of talking about religion. He never forced his beliefs on others or criticized anyone for thinking differently. Instead, he explained things with patience, kindness, and respect. Even if someone disagreed with him, he never got angry. He believed that Islam teaches patience, wisdom, and good manners, and he always practiced these values in his daily life. Saud was also very interested in learning about other religions. He believed that understanding different faiths helped strengthen his own belief in Islam. He read books about Christianity, Judaism, Hinduism, and Buddhism, not because he wanted to follow them, but because he wanted to learn about their beliefs. This helped him understand how Islam answered the big questions of life. Whenever someone compared Islam to another religion, Saud was always ready with knowledge and references to explain the differences and similarities. Apart from reading, Saud also loved watching religious debates, listening to lectures by scholars, and discussing deep topics with others. If he heard a new argument about Islam, he never ignored it. Instead, he researched it, found authentic sources, and made sure he had the correct information before discussing it with others. His goal was never to argue, but to spread knowledge in a respectful way. Sood's dedication to religion and his ability to explain things in a simple and logical manner made him one of the most respected members of the group. His friends admired him not just for his knowledge, but also for his kind and humble nature. He never looked down on anyone for not knowing something. Instead, he encouraged everyone to learn more. He always said, "The more we learn about our religion, the closer we get to Allah." Haris, the serious one. Harris was the most serious and intellectual member of the group. He had a sharp mind and loved discussing history, politics, and current affairs. While others in the group talked about everyday life, jokes, or random fun topics, Haris was always ready to start a deep discussion about world events, government policies, or historical movements. He believed in knowledge and reason and never spoke without thinking. Whenever Harris started talking, the group knew they were about to hear something interesting, even if not everyone was in the mood for a serious debate. He had strong opinions and was not afraid to express them. If someone disagreed with him, he welcomed the challenge and engaged in long discussions, making sure to present facts and logical arguments. His confidence in his beliefs made him a tough debater, and he rarely backed down. Despite his serious nature, Harris was respected by everyone. Even those who didn't always agree with him admired his intelligence and deep thinking. He was never careless with his words. Everything he said had meaning. If someone tried to argue without proper knowledge, Harris would calmly correct them, saying, "Before you disagree, make sure you know the facts." However, Harris wasn't just about debates and discussions. Beneath his serious exterior, he cared deeply for his friends. If someone was struggling, he was always there to give them logical advice. He believed in solving problems with reason rather than emotions. If a friend was upset over something trivial, he would say, "Think about it logically. Is this really worth worrying about?" His approach was different, but his intentions were always pure. The only person who could truly challenge Harris in a debate was Sonia.
Sonia, the kind-hearted debater. Sonia was just as passionate about discussions as Harris, but unlike him, she had a soft and kind heart. She loved debating political and social issues, and she never hesitated to challenge Harris when their opinions clashed. They supported different political parties, and their debates would sometimes last for hours. The group often watched in amusement as they argued, each one trying to prove the other wrong. However, the biggest difference between them was that Sonia never held grudges. No matter how heated the argument became, she always made sure it didn't affect their friendship. After an intense debate, she would simply send a message to Harris saying, "Let's forget the argument and talk about something fun." This forgiving nature made her beloved by everyone, even those who disagreed with her views. Sonia had a way of making people feel comfortable around her. She was not just a debater. She was also a great listener. If one of her friends was feeling low, she would notice immediately and offer comforting words. She believed in kindness above all else, and even when she was strict in her debates, she was gentle in her friendships. Her conversations with Harris were legendary in the group. While others watched their debates for entertainment, there was an unspoken respect between them. Harris admired Sonia's knowledge and ability to challenge him, and Sonia respected Harris's dedication to facts and logic. They disagreed often, but deep down, they valued each other's intellect and friendship. Together, Harris and Sonia brought a unique balance to the group. Harris brought depth, logic, and strong opinions, while Sonia added warmth, kindness, and the ability to let go of arguments. Their debates were a never-ending source of entertainment for their friends, but their friendship was built on respect and understanding. Even if they never agreed politically, they both knew that their bond was more important than any argument.
Hey!
What now?
We forgot to tell them something.
Forgot. But what?
We forgot to inform our viewers about how we are continuing this story without arguing or fighting.
I see, but that's the secret.
Indeed, it's...
I'm also wondering something.
What's that?
If we don't inform our viewers about it, to whom else shall we convey it?
If that is the case, then let us establish one condition.
Condition? What type of condition is that?
If our viewers continue to watch this story, we'll reveal our secret after Amens.
Amen.
Yep, Amen, have you forgotten about her, huh?
Oh no! How could I forget her?
Shall I continue?
Yeah, sure.
So guys,
Effie was a unique person, confident, sharp, and always ready to start a debate. He had deep knowledge about politics, different countries and cultures, and he loved discussing them with anyone who joined his table. But what made him truly different was his straightforward nature. He didn't sugarcoat words, didn't believe in unnecessary politeness, and had no patience for nonsense. If he respected someone, he showed it openly. And if he didn't, he made it clear. One day, while Effie was teasing and arguing with Alizi, a new storm entered his life. Sonia. She was an emotional and impatient girl who couldn't tolerate anyone disrespecting her friends. Alizi was her bestie, and seeing Effie fight with her was enough to ignite Sonia's anger. Without a second thought, she jumped in and shouted, "Never fight with my innocent sweetheart." Effie, who usually didn't care about people's opinions, was strangely quiet at that moment. Maybe he was surprised by Sonia's reaction, or maybe he just didn't feel like arguing with her. Whatever it was, he accepted her words, and the fight ended. But that was only the beginning of their story. The start of an unusual friendship. Effie was a fluent English speaker, and his confidence made people either admire him or find him arrogant. Sonia, who was trying to improve her English, started joining his table more often. At first, it was just for practice, but soon, she found herself getting used to his presence. Effie too noticed Sonia's interest, and over time they started following each other, but their personalities were like fire and ice. Effie was passionate about politics and could talk about different countries for hours. The moment a new person joined, he would ask, "Where are you from?" and immediately start discussing that country's government, cities, or history. It didn't matter if the listener was interested or not. Effie was always ready for a debate. Sonia, on the other hand, had no patience for politics. She was more emotional, more sensitive, and more focused on personal relationships. She believed in loyalty and deep friendships. If she considered someone a friend, she would defend them no matter what. The conflict begins. As Sonia spent more time at Effie's table, people started noticing. Some Indian users warned her, saying Effie is rude, he fights with people, and he disrespects others. But Sonia never believed them. To her, Effie was always respectful. He controlled his temper, never misbehaved with her, and always maintained his limits. However, there was one issue. Effie often talked about religion and Indian culture. Many of Sonia's Indian friends didn't like his views, and slowly she started losing them. These were the same people who had once given her so much respect, but now they were drifting away. Effie had exposed a different side of them, and Sonia was caught in the middle. To find out the truth, she did something unexpected. She created a fake account and joined random discussions without revealing her identity. What she discovered shocked her. The same people who were once friendly to her had a completely different side when she wasn't around. The unexpected break. Despite all the drama, Sonia and Effie were never really close friends. They enjoyed talking, had mutual respect, but deep inside, they were too different. Their biggest fight came when Effie casually mentioned that he had been married 4 times. Sonia, who had strong opinions on relationships, couldn't understand how someone could marry that many times. What, 4 times? How could you? She asked in disbelief. Effie, being Effie, didn't care about justifying himself. Why not? It's my life, he replied casually. That was it, the final argument. They disagreed so strongly that they ended up blocking each other. It wasn't a dramatic fight, just a realization that they were too different to continue talking. Now 4 months had passed. Sonia was busy with her exams, and Effie had disappeared into his own world, spending time with his family. But despite their differences, one thing was undeniable. Effie was a special person. Effie's unique personality. Effie was not someone who respected everyone. He was straightforward, blunt, and often came across as rude. But with Sonia, things were different. He gave her more respect than most, even when she was rude to him. Maybe he saw something unique in her, or maybe he just enjoyed their conversations. Sonia, on the other hand, was sensitive and emotional. She took every relationship seriously, even when the other person didn't. She was not used to bad experiences with people, so she trusted easily. In the app, she always called boys brother, except for Effie and one other person. And the funny part? Both of them were married. Sonia's bigger dream. Despite everything, Sonia had a bigger goal in life. She wanted to become fluent in English and gain deep knowledge about Islam so she could preach to others. That was why she used the app, to learn, to grow, and to connect with people. And in the process, she had gained millions of Pakistani brothers and sisters, along with friends from all over the world.
Wow.
What happened?
You really know how to convey a story, don't you?
Indeed I know, but why are you astonished?
Because I wonder you are more good than her.
Perhaps so?
Not maybe, but sure.
I see. Wasn't their story sad?
Undoubtedly that was. So, how do you feel about that?
I feel dejected and worried.
So what do you think that should be done, so you may feel better?
I don't know. I just want them to be together.
We can do that!
But how?
We can tell our viewers that they became together.
It's not about the viewers, but the reality.
I see.
All right. All the stories may not have happy ending.
But I also want them to be friends again.
We don't have their contact number. How may we talk to them?
At least we can do something.
Huh? But what?
We may pray for them. Bird, the curious one. Bird was a one-of-a-kind girl, full of life, energy, and endless curiosity. She had a habit of looking ahead, always eager to talk about what the future might bring. She loved discussing big dreams, exciting possibilities, and the little details that made life special. One of her favorite topics was Usman's marriage. It was something she found truly fascinating, and she never got tired of talking about it. Whenever Bird and Usman sat together, the conversation would eventually turn toward marriage. Bird's eyes would light up with excitement as she leaned in, ready to ask her favorite questions. Usman, have you ever imagined your wedding day? What will it be like? Will it be a grand event with hundreds of guests or something small and intimate? Usman would often smile and shake his head. Bird, why do you always ask me these things? He would say with amusement. But Bird never gave up. I just love thinking about the future. It's exciting, isn't it? Imagine how wonderful it would be. You, standing there, waiting for your bride. The music playing, the guests smiling, and everyone celebrating your big day. Doesn't that sound amazing? Bird would say with enthusiasm. Usman would laugh and sometimes tease Bird, saying, You sound more excited about my wedding than I do. But deep down, he knew Bird's excitement was pure and full of warmth. She wasn't just being nosy, she genuinely cared. She wanted to know every little detail, not because she was interfering, but because she loved imagining happy moments for the people she cared about. But Bird's curiosity didn't stop at marriage. She was always thinking ahead, wondering about life's next big steps. She loved asking questions about careers, travel, and even the small things, like what someone planned to eat for dinner or what their weekend plans were. No topic was too big or too small for Bird. She believed that every little moment in life was worth talking about, worth imagining, and worth looking forward to. Her endless questions never felt annoying. Instead, they made conversations feel special. Talking to Bird was like stepping into a world full of possibilities. She had a way of making even the simplest things sound magical. Her energy was infectious, and she had the rare ability to turn an ordinary conversation into something exciting and meaningful. Bird was not just a talker, she was a dreamer, and her dreams weren't just for herself. They were for everyone around her. She wanted to see people happy, excited about their future, and filled with hope. That was what made Bird so special. No matter how many times she asked about the same things, it never felt repetitive. It always felt like a new adventure, a journey into the unknown, filled with excitement, wonder, and joy.
Hey, you little scoundrel!
How dare you to call me?
How dare you to speak too much?
Why the hell did you interrupt me?
Shut up! Do you have any idea how long I've been waiting for you to finish her story?
I'm fed up of your interruption over and over.
And I'm fed up of your blabbering, which you do unnecessarily. Now zip your lips, and I'm gonna tell my beloved brother Bilal's story.
All right, go ahead now. All the time fighting with me over trivial things, you should be my friend Psycho.
Bilal, the loyal and protective friend. Bilal was the kind of friend everyone wished to have. Strong, loyal, and always ready to stand by the people he cared about. He had a big heart and was full of emotions. If he saw something unfair happening, he couldn't stay quiet. He believed in speaking up and protecting his friends from any harm. But sometimes his emotions got the best of him. He could get frustrated when things didn't go as he thought they should. However, no matter how upset he was, he never used bad words or disrespected anyone. His anger wasn't about being rude. It was simply his way of showing how much he cared. Among his group of friends, Bilal was known for his strong sense of justice. If anyone was in trouble, he was always the first to step in. He didn't like seeing his friends upset, and if someone needed help, he made sure they knew he was there for them. Whether it was a big problem or a small one, Bilal took everything seriously because for him, friendship meant standing together through everything. But sometimes his fiery personality made things difficult. His friends could see when he was getting frustrated, and that's when Saud, the calm and wise one in the group, would step forward. Anger takes away our peace, my friend, Saud would remind him gently. It's like fire. It burns everything around it. But in the end, it hurts the one holding it the most. Bilal would clench his fists, take a deep breath, and try to let go of his frustration. It wasn't always easy, but deep down he knew Saud was right. Over time, he started to understand that staying calm in difficult situations was just as important as standing up for what was right. But Bilal wasn't just protective in arguments. His loyalty was most visible when it came to his closest friends. Daisy, one of the kindest and most caring people in their group, sometimes found herself in difficult situations. Even though she was strong and independent, she still needed support. And Bilal was always there for her. "You're not alone," he would say with confidence. "No matter what happens, I've got your back." Daisy always felt a sense of security knowing Bilal was around. He wasn't just saying those words, he truly meant them. If she needed help, he would drop everything to be there for her. He believed that real friendship wasn't just about having fun together. It was about standing beside each other in both happy and difficult times. Even when small arguments broke out in their group, Bilal always reminded everyone of what truly mattered. He had a strong personality, but he also knew the importance of unity. "We don't have to agree on everything," he would say, "but we do have to stick together." No matter how heated an argument became, Bilal never let it break their friendship. He understood that disagreements were normal, but the bond they shared was far more important than any temporary misunderstanding. Abdul the poet, the soulful thinker of the group. Abdul was not just a friend. He was a poet at heart. While others filled the group with laughter, energy, and fun, Abdul brought something deeper: wisdom, emotions, and a love for beautiful words. He was the kind of person who could take a simple moment and turn it into something meaningful with just a few lines of poetry. His love for Allama Iqbal's poetry was unmatched, no matter what the conversation was about. Abdul always found a way to bring poetry into it. And before he started reciting, he had a special way of introducing it. With a thoughtful expression, he would clear his throat and say, "The poet says." The moment his friends heard those words, they knew something beautiful was coming. The one who spoke in verses. Abdul didn't just read poetry, he felt it. His voice would rise and fall with emotion. His expressions would change, and sometimes he would even close his eyes as if he was lost in the world of words. His friends loved listening to him because, in those moments, it felt like time had slowed down, and they were hearing something truly special. Even those who never cared much for poetry found themselves drawn to his words. He had a way of explaining each verse, so simply and beautifully that everyone could understand its meaning. See, this line is telling us that success isn't just about luck. It's about effort, about never giving up, he would say passionately, and his friends would nod, suddenly feeling motivated. The deep thinker of the group. Abdul wasn't just a poet, he was a thinker. While others joked around, he often sat quietly, lost in thought. His friends would ask, "What are you thinking about now?" And he would smile before sharing a deep thought or a beautiful line of poetry that perfectly fit the situation. If someone was struggling with something in life, Abdul always had the right words to lift them up. Instead of giving plain advice, he would say, "Let me tell you something beautiful." And then he'd share a verse about hope, patience, or strength. You see, even the greatest poets knew that life isn't always easy. But that's what makes us strong. The unexpected fun side. Now, while Abdul was deep and poetic, that didn't mean he was always serious. He had a fun side too. If someone made a silly mistake, he'd grin and say, "Wait, I think there's a poem for this situation." And then he'd dramatically recite a verse that somehow fit perfectly, making everyone burst into laughter. His friends would often joke, "Abdul, do you ever talk without poetry?" And he'd just smile and say, "But where's the fun in that?" He even had a playful habit of turning his friends' random words into poetry. If someone said, "I'm so tired today," Abdul would immediately say, "Tiredness is but a passing cloud. The sun of effort will soon shine proud." His friends would groan and laugh, saying, "There he goes again." Nasir, the flirt in public. Nasir was a 20-year-old young man full of charm, confidence, and humor. He was handsome, with sharp features, bright eyes, and a smile that could make anyone's day better. But the thing that made him truly special was his ability to make people laugh. Nasir had a habit of flirting, but only in public. His flirting was never serious, it was always lighthearted, fun, and respectful. He never crossed any limits or made anyone uncomfortable. It was just his way of making people smile. Among his friends, there was one person who knew him best: Sweet. Sweet wasn't her real name. It was a nickname because of her kind and caring nature. But despite her soft-hearted personality, she had one mission in life: to match Nasir with someone. Nasir's famous public flirting. Whenever Nasir entered a gathering, the whole mood changed. He had a way of making people feel comfortable and happy. Whether it was a wedding, a university event, or a casual meetup with friends, Nasir always became the center of attention. One day, at a friend's sister's wedding, Nasir was in full form. The hall was decorated beautifully, and everyone was dressed in their best clothes. Nasir, wearing a stylish shalwar kameez, walked past a group of girls. He suddenly stopped as if he had remembered something very important. "Oh no," he said loudly. The girls looked at him in surprise. One of them, Aisha, asked, "What happened?" Nasir sighed dramatically. "I forgot to introduce myself to the most beautiful girls in the room." The girls burst into laughter. One of them, Miriam, shook her head. Nasir, will you ever stop? Nasir grinned. Only when I run out of good lines. And don't worry, that hasn't happened yet. Everyone around laughed. Even the elders at the wedding, who usually didn't like jokes, enjoyed Nasir's harmless flirting. Sweet, who had been watching from a distance, came over and whispered, Nasir, you know you can save all these lines for someone special, right? Nasir smirked. What would life be without some fun, Sweet? Sweet rolled her eyes but smiled. She always teased him about settling down, but Nasir was enjoying his time.
Sweet, the matchmaker of the group. Sweet was just as kind and lovable as her name. She had a warm heart and cared deeply for all her friends. Whenever someone needed advice, a listening ear, or just a little cheering up, Sweet was always there. She believed that friendship was about being there for each other, sharing happiness and making life a little more fun. But if there was one thing that made Sweet different from everyone else, it was her obsession with matchmaking, especially when it came to Nasir. Sweet had a special interest in talking about marriages, and Nasir was always her favorite target. No matter what the conversation was about, she would somehow bring it back to the topic of Nasir's future wife. Nasir, one day, you will thank me for finding you the perfect wife, she would say with a playful grin. The whole group would burst into laughter while Nasir shook his head, pretending to be annoyed. She would go on and on about how she imagined Nasir's wedding day. It will be a grand event, a beautiful venue, bright lights, and of course, a bride who is just as amazing as I expect her to be. She had already planned out every little detail, what Nasir should wear, how the decorations should look, and even what kind of wedding food should be served. I will make sure everything is perfect, she would say proudly. Nasir would laugh and tease her back. Sweet, you talk more about my wedding than I do. Are you sure you're not planning your own wedding instead? The whole group would chuckle at their fun banter. But everyone knew that Sweet was not just joking. She genuinely wanted to see her friends happy. It wasn't just Nasir. Sweet had a habit of trying to pair up all her friends. Whenever someone mentioned their future, she would immediately start thinking about their perfect life partner. I just want everyone to have a happy married life, she would say. What's better than helping friends find their perfect match? Even though she loved teasing Nasir, Sweet was also a very caring and understanding friend. If someone was feeling down, she would be the first to notice. Are you okay? She would ask gently. She believed that a little kindness could make a big difference in someone's day. Sweet's energy was contagious. She had a way of making even serious conversations fun. If a friend was worried about their future, she would say, just imagine one day you will be telling your love story to your kids, so don't stress too much. Everything will happen at the right time. Her words always brought smiles to their faces. Her matchmaking skills were always a source of entertainment for the group. Sweet, you should open a matchmaking service, someone joked once. Maybe I will, she replied, laughing. But deep down, she knew it wasn't just about marriage. It was about love, friendship, and making sure everyone around her was happy. Hey!
Yes, Mr. Interrupter.
How rude you are.
Well, how much do you like your new name?
Quite a lot. Anyway, I don't mind it this time.
I see. But may I know why?
Yeah, actually, I really like her matchmaking skills.
Yeah, so what?
I would like you to ask her to find a suitable match for me as well. You have a good friendship with her.
Oh, but do you really think I'll do it?
Yeah, I completely believe in you.
I'm not gonna do...
Hey, please, please, please.
All right. I'll ask her to find someone like you.
Usama, the deep thinker. In a small town filled with laughter and simple joys, Usama stood apart. He was not like his friends, who found excitement in movies, sports, and daily gossip. While they spoke about the latest trends and jokes, Usama's mind wandered into the depths of life's greatest mysteries. He was always lost in thought, questioning everything around him. From a young age, he had been different. While other children played carelessly, Usama would sit under the old oak tree near his house, staring at the sky. He found comfort in silence, listening to the rustling leaves and the distant chirping of birds. The world fascinated him, not just in the way it looked, but in the way it worked. Why did people behave the way they did? Why were some happy while others seemed lost? What was the true purpose of life? These were the thoughts that filled his mind, making him feel like a traveler on a never-ending journey of discovery. His friends often teased him for being so serious. They would joke that Usama thought about things no one else did. While they laughed and enjoyed the moment, he sat quietly, observing, absorbing, and reflecting. He was never bored because his mind was always alive with questions. Despite his deep thoughts, Usama was never lonely. People were drawn to him because of the wisdom in his words. Whenever his friends faced problems, they turned to him for advice. He had a way of looking at situations from a different perspective, making even the most difficult decisions seem simple. Books became his closest companions. He read about philosophy, science, religion, and human nature. Every book he opened was like a doorway to another world, filling his mind with new ideas. He believed that knowledge was endless, and the more he learned, the more he realized how little he knew. He often spent time by the river, watching the water flow. The movement of the river reminded him of life itself, always moving, never stopping, carrying both beauty and challenges. He saw lessons in everything. The changing seasons taught him about the passage of time. The rising sun reminded him of hope, and the stars in the night sky made him think about how small yet significant every person was in the vast universe. Usama's way of thinking sometimes made him feel disconnected from the world around him. He saw people chasing material things, always in a rush, never stopping to appreciate the moment. He wondered why so many lived without questioning their purpose. He wanted to understand what truly made people happy. Was it wealth, success, love, or was it something deeper, something invisible yet powerful? Usama never stopped searching for meaning. He knew that life was a journey of endless learning. He was not just another person in the crowd. He was a thinker, a seeker, a quiet observer of life. And in his deep thoughts, he found a kind of beauty that few ever noticed. Anaya, the peacemaker, the wise one of the group. Anaya was the calm in the middle of any storm, the voice of reason when things got heated, and the glue that kept the group together. She had a natural gift for keeping the peace, and no matter how big or small a problem was, Anaya knew exactly how to handle it. While others might jump into arguments with their own opinions, Anaya never took sides. She always listened carefully, nodding as both sides explained their point of view. Then, with her soft but firm voice, she would step in and say, "Let's not fight. We are friends and that's what matters." And just like that, the tension in the room would fade. The one who solved every problem. Anaya had a way of making people feel understood. If two friends were arguing, she never said, "You're wrong," and "You're right." Instead, she would patiently help them see each other's side. "Okay, so you're upset because he borrowed your book and didn't return it on time. And you're upset because you thought he didn't mind waiting. See? It's just a misunderstanding." She made problems look so simple that sometimes people would wonder why they were even arguing in the first place. Even when someone was mad and stubborn, refusing to listen, Anaya wouldn't give up. She'd sit beside them, tilt her head, and say with a knowing smile, "Come on, do you really want to stay upset? We all know you're going to forgive each other in the end. So why not save time and do it now? The group's emotional support. Anaya wasn't just there to fix fights. She was also the one who made sure everyone was okay emotionally. If someone was upset but pretending to be fine, she would see right through them. I know that smile isn't real. Tell me what's wrong, she'd say gently, and just like that, the person would open up. She was the type of friend who would stay up late to listen, send random messages just to check in, and remember the little things that mattered to people. If someone was sad, she didn't just say, "Cheer up." No, Anaya would sit with them, hold their hand, and remind them, it's okay to feel this way, but you're not alone and you never will be. Her secret weapon, the Anaya stare. Now, just because Anaya was peaceful didn't mean she was weak. Oh no, when things got too chaotic, she had a secret weapon, the Anaya stare. If two people were being stubborn and refusing to listen, she would cross her arms, give them the look and wait. The silence would stretch, and soon they'd both start shifting uncomfortably. Are you really going to make me stand here all day? She would ask. And that was usually enough to make them drop their egos and apologize. Even the biggest troublemakers in the group respected Anaya. They knew that if she stepped in, it was time to stop acting foolish and start listening.
Shahzad the dreamer. Shahzad was not like everyone else. He was a big dreamer, always thinking about the future and imagining exciting possibilities. While others were focused on daily life, Shahzad's mind was filled with thoughts of traveling the world, starting a successful business, and achieving great things. His dreams were so vivid and colorful that they felt real to anyone who listened. Shahzad had a way of making others believe in his dreams. He would sit with his friends, talking about visiting famous cities, tasting new foods, and standing on mountaintops with the wind in his face. One day we'll all travel together, he would say with a bright smile. We'll sit by the ocean in another country and laugh about how far we've come. He spoke with such confidence that it felt like a promise, not just a dream. But Shahzad didn't only dream about traveling, he dreamed of a better life for himself and his friends. He wanted them all to succeed together. We won't just live, we'll make a difference, he would say. His belief in the future gave everyone hope, especially during tough times. Whenever his friends felt discouraged, Shahzad was there to lift them up. It's just one bad day, he would remind them. The story isn't over yet. His words made problems feel smaller and the future feel brighter. Even when things got tough, Shahzad never stopped believing. If someone doubted him, he would smile and say, "It will happen. We just have to keep going." His confidence gave others strength. Shahzad's dreams became a source of comfort and hope for everyone around him. His friends knew that one day they would be sitting together on that beach, watching the sunset, and realizing that Shahzad had been right all along. "Hey, Mr. Interrupter!"
Yes, little scoundrel.
"Isn't he cute?"
Ugh, indeed he is, but not more than I.
Not more than you."
Huh? Flirting?
"Oh, nothing such as, I was just joking around."
Oh, all right. Yahoo, the funniest and most talented girl. Yahoo was the kind of girl who could light up any room she walked into. She had two incredible gifts. One, she could make people laugh so hard that they'd forget all their worries. And two, she had the most alluring and breathtaking voice that could bring peace to the most restless heart. Whenever she started reciting an Islamic knot, the entire atmosphere would change. Her voice was so beautiful, so heart-touching, that even the wind seemed to pause to listen. If someone was talking, they'd suddenly go silent. If someone was walking, they'd stop in their tracks. Even the most mischievous kids would sit still, completely mesmerized. It was as if the world itself had pressed the pause button just to listen to Yahoo's magical voice. One day she was reciting a knot in a gathering, and by the time she finished, there wasn't a single dry eye in the room. Even the friend who always acted too cool was sitting there, sniffing and wiping away tears. Someone whispered, "Is she even human? Or did an angel just visit us?" But Yahoo, being the fun-loving girl she was, couldn't let the moment stay too serious for too long. She flashed a cheeky smile and said, "Yes, an angel, but an angel who also loves extra spicy biryani and funny jokes." And just like that, the whole room burst into laughter. That was Yahoo for you, a girl who could touch your soul with her voice and heal your heart with her jokes. If a friend was feeling sad, Yahoo always knew exactly what to do. If they needed peace, she would recite a knot so beautifully that they would forget all their worries. And if they needed cheering up, she would crack a joke so funny that they'd end up laughing even if they didn't want to. One day, a friend asked her, "Yahoo, how do you do it? How do you make people cry with your gnats and then make them laugh a second later?" Yahoo grinned and said, "Easy. My voice is for the soul and my jokes are for the heart. Allah has given me both, so why not use them?" She wasn't just an entertainer. She was a blessing to the group, a girl who spread happiness wherever she went. Without Yahoo, life would be like chai without sugar, biryani without spice, or a joke without laughter. In other words, completely boring.
Charlie, the quick-tempered one. Charlie was a boy who always acted without thinking. Whenever something happened, he would react right away without stopping to think if it was the right thing to do. Sometimes it was small things, like snapping at a friend for bumping into him by accident. Other times it was bigger things, like getting angry when he lost a game and blaming his teammates. Charlie's friends cared about him a lot, but they often got tired of his quick temper. "Charlie, you need to calm down," they would say. "Just take a deep breath before you react." Charlie would nod and promise to try. But when the next situation came up, he would forget. There was a girl named Sirat, who was part of the same online group where Charlie and his friends would hang out. They didn't know each other personally and had never talked directly. Sirat would sometimes join the group on an app, where everyone would chat and hang out. She usually stayed quiet, listening more than talking. One evening, Sirat joined the group call while everyone was chatting casually. For no reason at all, Charlie suddenly felt annoyed. "Who is this?" he said sharply. "Why is she even here?" Without thinking, he kicked Sirat from the group. A few days later, Sirat joined the group again. When Charlie saw her name pop up on the screen, he rolled his eyes. "Oh, it's her again," he muttered. Without warning, he removed her from the group call again. After that, Sirat never joined the group again. Charlie didn't think much of it at first. He didn't know her, so why should it matter? But over time, he noticed her name was no longer on the list of active members. He saw her around school sometimes, sitting with her friends or walking in the hall, but they never spoke. Charlie started to wonder if maybe he had been too harsh. One day, Charlie and his friends were playing soccer in the park. Charlie was running toward the ball when his friend Mikasa accidentally tripped him. Charlie fell to the ground and scraped his knee. "Ow!" he shouted, glaring at Mikasa. "You did that on purpose!" Mikasa looked shocked. "No, I didn't. It was an accident." But Charlie wasn't listening. "You always ruin the game," he yelled. He stomped off to sit under a tree, crossing his arms angrily. After a while, Mikasa joined Charlie. "You know I didn't mean to trip you," she said gently. Charlie sighed. "I know, but I was just so mad in the moment." Mikasa smiled. "We all get angry sometimes. But remember what we always say. Take a deep breath before you react." Charlie thought about it. Then he remembered Sirat, how she had joined the group twice and how he had kicked her out both times for no reason at all. "I think I need to apologize to someone," Charlie said. "That sounds like a good idea," Mikasa replied with a smile. Charlie knew it wouldn't be easy. After all, they didn't even know each other. But he hoped Sirat would give him the chance to make things right.
Daisy, the encourager. Daisy wasn't just a kind girl, she was unforgettable. There was something magical about her that set her apart from everyone else. She had this rare ability to see the hidden strengths in people that even they couldn't see themselves. While others might have walked past someone struggling, Daisy had a gift for noticing the quiet signs, the forced smile, the tired eyes, the shaky hands, and she always knew exactly what to say and do to make things better. It wasn't just her words that made a difference. It was the way she said them. Daisy had a soft, calming voice that made people feel safe, like they were wrapped in a warm blanket. When someone doubted themselves, Daisy wouldn't just say, "You can do it." She would lean in, look them in the eyes, and say, "I know you can do it. I can see it in you." And somehow, people believed her because Daisy had this quiet certainty that made you feel like you could climb mountains. But Daisy's magic wasn't limited to words. She had this creative spark that turned ordinary moments into something extraordinary. If a friend was nervous about a big test, Daisy wouldn't just wish them luck. She'd sneak a funny doodle into their notebook to make them laugh. If someone was feeling down, she'd organize a starlit picnic with their favorite snacks, complete with fairy lights and music. Daisy had a way of making even the smallest moments feel like memories you'd want to keep forever. She was brave, too. Not the loud, fearless kind of brave, but the quiet kind. Daisy stood up for people when no one else would. If someone was being treated unfairly, Daisy didn't hesitate to step in. Once, when a shy classmate was being laughed at for giving a wrong answer, Daisy had calmly corrected the others, saying, "At least she tried, and that's more than most people can say." Her quiet strength made others rethink their actions without Daisy ever raising her voice. Bilal, her closest friend, understood just how special Daisy was. He admired her not just for her kindness, but for her courage and creativity. He knew Daisy sometimes carried more than she let on, that being everyone's strength wasn't always easy, but Bilal was always there, a quiet anchor for Daisy when things got overwhelming. He didn't need to say much. A simple, "I'm here," was enough for Daisy to feel steady again. Daisy wasn't just a nice girl. She was the kind of person who left an imprint on your heart. She made people believe in themselves, not because she told them to, but because she showed them how. Daisy didn't just brighten the world, she made it warmer, kinder, and more beautiful just by being herself. And that's why everyone who knew Daisy couldn't help but love her. Hey, did you notice something?
Notice but what?
I felt chemistry among them.
Hey, you are overthinking.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Ahsan the teaser. Ahsan was a strong and protective friend. He always cared for his friends and made sure they were safe and happy. But the most special thing about him was his love for teasing others. No matter what the situation was, Ahsan always found a way to joke around. While others gave serious advice or motivational speeches, he would make a funny comment, play a small prank, or tease his friends so much that they forgot their worries and started laughing. His teasing was never mean. It was always fun and lighthearted. That's why his friends loved being around him. No matter how bad their day was, Ahsan had a way of making them smile. If someone failed a test, instead of saying, "Don't worry, you'll do better next time," he would say something silly like, "Wow, you've broken a world record for the lowest marks. Maybe the teacher will hang your test paper on the wall." And instead of feeling sad, his friend would burst into laughter. Among all his friends, the one he teased the most was Sweet. Sweet had a special talent. She loved matchmaking. She was always trying to bring people together, thinking about who would make a good couple. If she saw two friends talking a lot, she would say, "Oh, you both like the same type of coffee? That means you're meant to be together." Ahsan, of course, never missed a chance to tease her. "Sweet, Do you carry a secret diary where you write down the names of future couples? Or do you have a magic mirror that tells you who will fall in love? He would joke. Sometimes he would act all serious and say, "Sweet, I have a big problem. My heart is confused. Can you find a match for me too?" But Sweet never got annoyed. She knew Ahsan was just being playful. In fact, she enjoyed it and teased him back. "Oh, Ahsan, don't worry. I've already found the perfect match for you. Someone who will tease you more than you tease others," she would say with a wink, making everyone laugh. Ahsan's way of handling problems was different from others. If a friend was stressed about an exam, he'd say, "Why worry? Just write your name beautifully on the paper. Maybe the teacher will give you marks for good handwriting." If someone was nervous about a job interview, he'd joke, "Just walk in confidently and say, 'Hire me or you'll regret it for life.'" No matter how tough life was, Ahsan had a way of making everything feel lighter. He turned sadness into smiles, worries into laughter, and stress into fun. His friends knew that no matter what happened, Ahsan would always be there, not just to support them, but to make them laugh when they needed it the most. And so Ahsan continued being the life of the group. The teaser, the joker, the one who made life fun. Because he believed that sometimes the best way to deal with problems was not to overthink them, but to laugh at them. Azami, the glue of the group. Azami was the kind of person everyone needed in their life. He wasn't just a friend. He was the glue that held the group together. No matter what happened, he made sure no one felt left out. Whenever one of his friends seemed distant, Azami had a way of pulling them back in. "We are a family, and we will always stay together," he would say with a wide grin. His words weren't just words, they had power. No one dared to argue with Azami when he said something like that. One day, something strange happened. Their friend Victor suddenly stopped coming to their usual hangout spot. No texts, no calls, nothing. It was as if he had vanished into thin air. "Maybe he's just busy," one friend said. "Or maybe," Azami said, narrowing his eyes, "he's been kidnapped by an alien who wants to replace him." Everyone laughed, except Azami. He wasn't joking. His eyes sparkled with excitement. "There's only one way to find out. We need to investigate." And so the adventure began. Azami led the group to Victor's house. But when they knocked, there was no answer. The lights were off. The windows were shut. It was way too quiet. "Maybe he's asleep?" someone whispered. Azami shook his head. Something's not right. Suddenly, a rustling sound came from the bushes. Everyone froze. "Ghost?" whispered one friend. "Zombie?" asked another. "Run?" suggested a third. But Azami marched straight toward the bushes and pulled out. Victor! He was crouching there with wide, guilty eyes. "What are you doing here?" Azami asked, crossing his arms. Victor sighed. I lost my lucky jacket, and I was too embarrassed to tell you guys. I didn't want to come without it." There was silence. Then Azami burst out laughing. "You mean to tell me we thought you were kidnapped by aliens? But you were just hiding because of a jacket?" Victor nodded sheepishly. The group laughed so hard they could barely breathe. "Listen, jacket or no jacket, you're still part of this family," Azami said. "And families don't leave anyone behind." Victor smiled. "Thanks, Azami." From that day on, no matter what happened, the group knew one thing for sure. Azami would always keep them together, even if it meant chasing imaginary aliens or dragging friends out of bushes. Hazim, the honest and respected one. Hazim was a very special person. He had a strong personality, good manners, and a kind heart. Many girls liked him, not just because of his looks, but because of his good character. However, Hazim was not the type to play with feelings or talk too closely with girls without reason. He always kept things respectful and had clear boundaries. One night around midnight, Hazim was sitting at an Indian restaurant when a girl came and sat at his table. She wanted to talk to him, and he greeted her politely. He asked simple questions like, "Hello, how are you?" but didn't let the conversation go on for too long. After a while, he said, "Please leave now." The girl was surprised and asked, "Why should I leave?" Hazim replied calmly, "I don't talk too closely with girls at this hour. It's not good." His words shocked her, but they also made her respect him. Later that night, she sent him a message. "You are really a good boy." She understood that Hazim was not like others. He had values, and he followed them. Hazim was known in the group for his positive attitude and strong influence. He was friendly, fun, and full of energy, but he always kept his limits. He never hurt anyone, never misled anyone, and always stayed true to himself. His friends often said, "Hazim is naughty, but his heart is pure." He had a playful side and loved making jokes, but he also knew when to be serious. His balance of fun and respect made him one of the most admired people in the group. Even though many girls liked him, he never let it change who he was. He stayed humble, kind, and always respected others. Hazim's character made him famous among his friends. He was fun, respectful, and always stood by his principles. He believed in honesty, loyalty, and keeping things right. That's why everyone trusted and respected him. Malik, the responsible one. Malik was the most responsible and dependable member of the group. He had a calm personality and always made sure things were in order. Whenever there was a problem, his friends naturally looked to him for guidance. He never rushed into making decisions. Instead, he took his time to think things through and gave wise advice. If there was a disagreement among friends, Malik was the first to step in and resolve it. He never took sides unfairly and always listened to both perspectives before speaking. His balanced nature made him the peacemaker of the group. Even when things got chaotic, his presence brought a sense of stability. Malik was also highly organized. Whether it was planning trips, managing group activities, or handling any difficult situation, he made sure everything went smoothly. His friends often said, "If Malik is in charge, we don't need to worry." Though he was serious by nature, he had a subtle sense of humor that made people feel comfortable around him. Despite his mature personality, Malik wasn't strict. He enjoyed spending time with his friends, laughing, and making memories. His responsible and caring attitude made him an important part of the group, a person everyone could count on in both good and bad times.
Eamon, the light of friendship. Eamon was the heartwarming presence in the group, someone who always reminded her friends how special their bond was. She had a kind and caring nature, and her words always brought comfort to those around her. No matter how much time passed or how busy life became, Eamon made sure that the group stayed connected. She had a way of making everyone feel valued. If someone felt distant or left out, Eamon would be the first to reach out and remind them, "No matter where life takes us, we will always be together." Her words carried a sense of warmth and reassurance, making everyone feel like they belonged. Eamon was also the one who noticed small changes in her friends. If someone was feeling sad or troubled, she would gently ask, "Is everything okay?" She had a soft and understanding nature, and people found it easy to open up to her. She never judged anyone. Instead, she listened with patience and kindness. Beyond her caring personality, Eamon loved creating beautiful memories with her friends. Whether it was a small gathering or a big celebration, she always made sure that everyone enjoyed themselves. She believed that friendship wasn't just about being together in happy times, but also about supporting each other during difficult moments. Her presence in the group was like a light that never faded. Even when disagreements happened or friends got busy with life, Eamon made sure to bring everyone back together. She often reminded them, friendship isn't about always talking. It's about always being there for each other. Her selfless nature made her one of the most cherished members of the group. No matter how much time passed, Eamon's friendship was a constant source of love and positivity. She was not just a friend. She was the glue that held them all together, making their bond truly unbreakable.
Hey, aren't you forgetting something?
What could that be?
Why don't you try to remember?
But I don't remember anything.
Ah, okay.
So let me know now.
All right. If you remember, we have to tell our viewers that how we are conveying the full story peacefully without interrupting each other unnecessarily.
OMG, it just slipped my mind.
Here we go as we agreed together. Guys, we both got agreed that we will continue the story one by one. But
She'll be the one who'll convey the story of boys and Isle of Girls.
ish.
Oh my goodness.
Mikasa, the elegant one, but also the secret boss. Mikasa was the definition of elegance. Everything about her, her graceful walk, her calm voice, and the way she carried herself, made people admire her. She had a natural charm that made her stand out, but what truly made her special was her heart. She was kind, caring, and always looked out for her friends. She believed in true friendship and made sure that everyone around her understood its value. But let's be honest, Mikasa wasn't just elegant. She was also the secret boss of the group. She never needed to raise her voice to be heard. One simple look from her was enough to make everyone sit up straight. If someone tried to mess around too much, she'd tilt her head, smile sweetly, and say, "Are you sure you want to do that?" That was usually enough to make them rethink their choices. She was the kind of person who made sure no one felt left out. If a friend was quiet or looked upset, Mikasa noticed immediately. She'd sit beside them and say, "All right, tell me everything. You know I won't let you go until you do." She had a way of making people feel comfortable, like they could share anything with her. And if they tried to say nothing, "I'm fine," she'd just stare at them until they gave in. No one could escape her warmth and concern. Mikasa took friendship very seriously. She believed that true friends were meant to stay, loyal and support each other no matter what. If someone in the group acted distant or ignored their friends, she would remind them, "A real friend doesn't disappear when things get hard. We stick together, no excuses." And if she ever heard someone gossiping or being unkind, she would simply raise an eyebrow and say, "Oh, so we're doing this now? Interesting." That one sentence alone was enough to make them rethink their choices. The queen of teasing. Now, just because Mikasa was graceful didn't mean she couldn't be mischievous. She had a sharp sense of humor and knew exactly how to tease her friends in the most elegant way possible. If someone got a bad haircut, she'd pat their shoulder and say, "Brave choice. I respect it." If a friend wore a questionable outfit, she'd raise an eyebrow and ask, "So, is this part of a new trend? Or should I pretend I didn't see this?" Her teasing was never mean-spirited. It was just the right mix of sass and fun. One of the funniest things about Mikasa was her love for food. She could sit with perfect posture, speak in the most refined way, and then completely lose her composure when there was cake on the table. The moment she took the first bite, she'd sigh dramatically and say, This is what happiness tastes like." And if someone tried to steal food from her plate, oh, that was a dangerous move. She'd stop mid-bite, look at them with narrowed eyes, and say, "Touch my food, and I will remember this forever." Her love for delicious meals was probably the only thing that could make her momentarily forget about being elegant.